I am determined to make this work. It's like it was meant to be. It's not the most Pinterest-worthy way to do things, but Pinterest doesn't always take into account real life and what works for real-world people. Well, hey everyone, it's Natalie. So glad you stopped by my channel for today's video. You right now are literally sitting on a pile of junk on top of my washing machine. In fact, this whole room, this pantry slash laundry room, utility room, it's just like one big pile of junk. It really needs some help in here. I've got to unpack and declutter and organize my pantry as well as the laundry room side. And so I thought we'd film a messy to minimal episode. And I would like to thank Cricut so much for sponsoring a portion of today's video. I'm gonna share with you how easy it is to create beautiful things with their machines. But for now, I am going to give you a little tour of what the room is looking like because we love a good before and after, right? Okay, so we have our laundry side over here, which is a total heap. We actually have some food and supplement items that have kind of crossed over onto this side over here. We've got some tools, stuff that still definitely needs to be unpacked. We have a whole heap, a pile of boxes over here that needs to be unpacked with both laundry items as well as like pantry items. This cabinet unit here was actually left here by the previous owners, which was so kind of them. And there's literally no rhyme or reason to what is thrown in here. I need to clear everything out of here. My main complaint though is that these doors on the cabinet are so big that they really get in the way. So I think, because I'm a make do with what you got sort of person, rather than like replacing this whole thing right now, I'm just gonna actually unscrew these doors, take them off, and just have open shelving in here. Ultimate goal for this room down the line is to have beautiful built-in cabinetry that's super functional and also looks good at the same time. But you guys know me, I'm not someone to go out and buy a bunch of new boxes or bins. If you saw my pantry declutter from the last house, I went around my house and just found what I could and used what I already had on hand. So that is what I plan to do this time. It's not the most Pinterest-worthy way to do things, but Pinterest doesn't always take into account real life and what works for real-world people. However, I will be taking it up a couple of notches with making some beautiful labels for my jars and crocks and baskets and stuff to be able to clearly read what is in there. Labels make a huge difference. That is something that I learned in the last house. Thanks so much to Cricut for making it possible to really just complete the organization of this pantry. Let's have a word from them while I start hauling stuff out of here, and then we'll come back to really declutter and organize and set this space up for success. Okay, you guys, first of all, I just have to say what a pleasure it is to be able to work with Cricut. I have wanted one of their smart cutting machines for a long time now. Fun fact, the first piece of decor that Weston and I ever owned was this sign that was made for us by someone that we went to church with. They made this for us for my bridal shower, which was almost 10 years ago. And over the last decade, of course, they've only gotten cooler and cooler. So Cricut sent me their Cricut Explore 3 machine, which cuts hundreds of materials, including everything from vinyl to leather. And today I'm going to be cutting removable vinyl to make these beautiful labels for my pantry crocks and jars. Cricut comes with a free software program for desktop and mobile. I actually did most of my designing on my iPad, but I did some of it on my desktop computer. It's called Design Space, and it allows me to choose from thousands of fonts and images and projects that you can cut with Cricut. You can make decals and stickers, bumper stickers, and
iron-on projects for like family t-shirts for vacation or holidays, my mind was just exploding with all of the different things that I could do with my Cricut machine. But I knew that the first project that I wanted to tackle was to make these pantry labels. I knew I wanted to create sort of a sticker label that had negative space where the letters were actually cut out. So I was able to get onto Cricut Design Space and design exactly what I had in mind. And it was so easy, it blew me away. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I am not a craftsy person. I never really have been, but this was such a no-brainer, such an easy project to complete. Once I had completed my design on Design Space, it was great to be able to just Bluetooth connect to my Cricut Explore 3 machine, load up my removable vinyl material, set it to go, and watch it cut out. It was so cool. That is so cool. Once my designs were cut, I was able to peel off my label and just a quick little work of weeding out any of the little circles and the E's or the A's that were left behind using one of Cricut's weeding tools. That's actually a technical term, weeding. It's something that you do not just in your yard, but with a Cricut label as well. And once I was able to transfer them to my Crocs, I knew it was time to get started on the lids for my other jars. And so I got to work on my desktop this time, making a list of the different dry goods and non-perishables that I had in my really tall mason jars in my pantry as well. Because these letters were smaller than the other labels that I had made, I decided to use their transfer tape, which is a very simple, easy way to put the letters and the labels onto these lids without actually individually having to place each letter by itself. The whole process was super streamlined, super easy to accomplish, and it made some really beautiful, easy to read, easy to organize labels, perfect for my pantry. And I didn't stop there. Once I started labeling those Crocs, I just had to keep going, as you'll see. Like I said, the possibilities are truly endless, and if you'd like to check out Cricut for yourself, you can use the code Natalie10 for 10% off and free shipping on any Cricut machine at Cricut.com. Thanks so much to Cricut for sponsoring this portion of today's video and for helping me creatively and effectively get my pantry and laundry room in order. Just wait until you guys see this before and after later on in the video. But for now, it's time to get into the decluttering and move these boxes out of this space so we can really start with a clean slate. There's no better time of the year, in my opinion, to straighten up your pantry than here in the holiday season. And even if you're not someone who just moved like I did, and you maybe don't have a ton of boxes to unpack, I think we could all use a good straightening up in our pantries or our laundry rooms. So get on up. Why don't we do this together? It's always more fun to declutter and organize and clean stuff up with a friend. I got all the boxes out of here. They are in various places. I have the heaviest like glass Crocs and jars and stuff here. Then I set up our folding table just out here in the living room, and I'm going to get stuff out of boxes and kind of arrange them as far as category goes. I still have to take stuff out of the pantry here, like this cabinet. I need to find my drill and unscrew these doors just to make it as easy on me as possible to get all of this stuff out. You know things are getting real when I put my hair up to work. I don't know how some YouTubers do it. I watch like a cleaning video every once in a while and I'll see their long flowing hair just looking very Disney princess-like as they're like deep scrubbing their toilets.
is not me, man. It's already looking better and feeling better with the doors off, with the boxes out of here. Grabbed a measuring tape because I'm gonna head out to the garage. There's some random shelving units that we brought here from the old house, like some wire rack shelving. You guys know how much I hate wire shelving, but it might be my only option right now because, repeat after me, we're doing with what we got. And then there is also a few shelving units that the previous owners left installed in the garage. I'm also gonna try to look for the little wire basket drawers that I had in our old pantry that I stored some fruit, onions, potatoes in. I think we're gonna put it here. Our electrical box with all the switches and stuff is right there. And Weston's actually needed to access this several times as we've been doing renovations and installing new lights and fixtures and plugs and stuff like that. And this is just not a great setup, but I think I can repurpose this and just put it in a different spot. So I'm gonna measure this space and take a little trip out to the garage to see what goodies I can find. 5 inches. And this is 22 and a half. Where are you? Where is, oh, there it is. Found you. Let's measure. Oh my gosh, it's just gonna barely fit. Okay, now to find a rack shelving that is under 35 inches. No, that is too big. Into like the shop part of the garage. Ooh, it's a windy day. Do you guys hear that? Under 35 inches. 36, that won't work. That's way too big, that's way too big. Anything over here? Nope. I think I'm striking out, but I'm still determined not to buy anything. Weston is actually on his way home right now. He has the key to the shed that we have, which is a separate building from this one. And I seem to recall kind of a taller metal shelving unit. I don't know. When he gets home, I'm gonna have him look, and if it's the right size, I will have him swap it out and bring it in for me. In the meantime, I have my fruits and veggies wire drawers. It's like it was meant to be. I am determined to make this work. Yes! Thank you, babe. Well, Weston and the kids are playing a game out in the living room, and this is not a solid door, so it's a little loud. This is just cracking me up so much, though. Everything that I've put in here barely fits. You saw these little drawers barely fit. This, we had to take the trim off to get it to slide in. And we actually realized that the wall isn't even perfectly square. And then this little rack for brooms and stuff, I mean, it barely fit in between this spot here, but it's the perfect spot for it. Thinking we're gonna keep cleaners and stuff up here on the higher shelves, up away from the kids, and then we'll have tools and stuff here. I think I'm gonna fill in this shelf last. The priority today, which I think this is gonna be a couple of days for this project, to get the food sorted and figured out. So these shelves are adjustable. I might have to adjust them. It looks like they were using this as a linen closet. We have very few household linens, so those just actually fit into our master bedroom closet. It's nice the shelves are adjustable, but I don't know how strong they are. So I am definitely gonna try to keep the heavy stuff toward the bottom. Probably do my jars and then some canned goods and then like daily stuff. And then I think I'm gonna put like hostessware, paper plates and stuff that we access more rarely up here at the top. This is one of the reasons why I want to do something built in here. There is so much room above here that is not being utilized with these tall ceilings in the house that if we had something customized to the space, we could really maximize our storage. But for now, I'm gonna make this work.
Oh, it's so good to be free. Your rules don't apply to me, no. I blow away all the pressure to measure up to what don't mean nothing. Oh, it's so good to be free, yeah. No slave to society, no. I realize that to fit in is quitting on the one and only me. Oh, I'm freest as me.
Okay, so I got my glass jars and everything here on the bottom. I'm gonna fire up my Cricut machine and get my pretty labels on later. I just wanted to kind of space these in to see how they'll fit. And I'm glad I was able to fit this heavy stuff here on the bottom, but I do have more heavy stuff that needs to be lower, especially since I was looking up and these shelves are just held on with these little brackets. I am going to, on this lowest shelf, stack our canned goods. So I moved this battery charger up here because the cord totally reaches. That's fine. This shelf down here on the bottom is going to have our canned soups and, you know, chili and beans and stuff like that.
I don't need the look or the trend. I'll be the least cool of my friends. You can have all that. I won't please the pack, 'cause I'm free. Whatever I choose to be. Oh, it's so good to be free. Letting life roll with such ease, yeah. What used to cause me to stress out, I'm less now. 'Cause that stuff don't own me. Oh, I'm finally free.
Things are shaping up really nicely in here. I will give you guys the final tour at the end. I just have some stuff like hostessware to fit up here. A lot of my serving trays and bowls and stuff that I have for feeding a lot of people, that is still packed, and a lot of it will go into the new kitchen. But I do have a few pieces here, like my most used pieces, that with the holidays coming up and everything, I definitely want to have on hand, and I do have room for it up here. But all of the food is where it needs to go. Now I'm just going to work on moving. I have some cleaning supplies and some like utility stuff, light bulbs, batteries, like sticky hooks and stuff like that that I'm gonna get up here on this shelf. And then I think we might be done as far as today goes.
'Cause that stuff don't own me. Oh, I'm finally free. I don't need the look or the trend. I'll be the least cool of my friends. You can have all that. I won't please the pack, 'cause I'm free. Be whatever I choose to be. Oh, it's so good to be free. Your rules don't apply to me. No, no, I blow away all the pressure to measure up to what don't need nothing. Oh, I'm finally free.
Alrighty, are you guys ready to see what the laundry room pantry is looking like now. I have worked over the last few days in little bits and pieces, filmed some of it, didn't film other parts of it. Part of it was actually done while our power was out. We had a huge storm here in the Pacific Northwest and in like southern BC, Canada, which means I couldn't get on my computer, I couldn't charge my camera batteries. I was in here with a flashlight at one point, just like working in the nooks and crannies on different stuff, but I really love how it turned out. And I feel like the fact that we were able to really live in the space for the last few days before I give you guys this tour helps you get a really good perspective on this after. You guys know I love to do like lived in befores and afters, so that you have a realistic perspective of progress that was made and what it looks like for our family to actually use this space. So it's not perfect in here. I have a couple of baskets of laundry that needs to be folded. I'm gonna get that out of the way. I paused my wash here on the washing machine because it's so loud, and I just want to show you everything that I did, all the decluttering, the organizing, and the labeling. We will scoot this out of the way. Please excuse the crumbs. We live here, could use a good sweep and mop, but I want to start here in the pantry side and show you what I decided to do. Go from top to bottom. You guys saw me put our like paper plates and guestware and stuff that we have for now up here at the top, and then I made this kind of narrow top shelf for protein, supplements, some of Weston's workout, like pre-workout stuff. Look at this. Ooh, Pumbocalypse. Oh my gosh. Some of the branding for this sort of thing is just so cringy. It just cracks me up so much. As you can see, we've already spilled here. So again, it's not perfect, but I have extra supplements here, some hydration and protein stuff. And then I just put our bulk spices sort of in this section. Moving down, this is the pasta cube. I like to keep a bin of like bagged dried pasta. And this worked really well in our old house, so I'm doing the same thing again here. And then like any little boxes of mac and cheese or whatever I have over here on the side. And then our bulk, we have like a chickpea banza pasta that we keep in this right there. Over here, I'm kind of calling this the breakfast and sweets shelf. I did have 2 boxes of cereal here that we ate through when our power was out because it was one of the only things that we could eat with not having a refrigerator. But I have like peanut butter and like a Nutella spread sort of thing, our syrup, some other sweeteners and stuff like that. On this little roundabout thing, these Lazy Susans, they don't always work well in a space. They kind of need a specific purpose, and I have enjoyed them for this sort of thing. So I can get what I want without having to shuffle through stuff in a deep shelf. This is sort of our snacks and crackers and chips shelf. So kind of like the pasta, I did this in the old house and it worked really well. A snacks bin where our like little grab and go stuff. I have a bulk little container of my Mary's Gone crackers, which I love. We have our container of microwave popcorn. This shelf, it's not really working for me, but I'm gonna leave it as is until we come up with something better. This is kind of like oils, vinegars, extra things of salad dressing. Right now we have one of the jugs of water that we had because our power was out. That doesn't actually belong there, but it's there for now. I expect stuff in these categories to change and shift around as we live in the space a little bit more. But this is what it is for now. But now on to all the dry goods and all the cute labels. These labels especially turned out exactly like I had in mind. And I haven't really seen this done very much, where basically, and I was explaining it to you guys earlier, the font color, if you will, is actually the color of the dry good inside. With this negative space here, and I loved being able to create these labels. They turned out so good. Then over here, I wanted to do sort of a scripty font, but I realized that these letters, they just had to be too small and it would be difficult to read, especially for kids. And if I'm having them help me bake and I send them into the pantry to grab something, I want them to be able to easily, clearly read these labels. And I really love how these turned out. So I'm not gonna list everything, but you can take a look at the stuff that we have in our stock right now. It's bothering me so bad that I just have one lonely little jar stacked up here, and that there's not an even number, but we definitely use every single one of these dry goods. I actually did end up decluttering out a few jars that we weren't using. So it was definitely a good decluttering session. Speaking of decluttering, I didn't actually get a shot of the stuff that I was decluttering out. I found some more canned goods to get out of here. We ended up taking some non-perishables and canned goods to a local food bank who were like directly helping the people who were affected by the flooding here north of us in Western Washington. It's just been crazy, and it was perfect timing because I had a few things that we were going to donate anyway that ended up going to people in like a very immediate sort of emergency need, which was such a blessing to me to be able to pass stuff on because I hate wasting food. I hate wasting anything out of my grocery budget. So we had a moving box full of stuff like that was donatable, and then we had another moving box, actually a bit larger, of stuff that was just trash or recyclables like packaging and plastic and stuff like that that we just needed to get out of here, or I had decanted into a jar and didn't need the original packaging anymore. So sorry I don't have a shot of like what I actually decluttered out, but if you trust me to take my word for it, it was about 2 moving boxes worth, like the medium large size moving boxes worth, which frees up a lot of really good space in here. I'm loving how this all turned out. Not loving this shelving cabinet unit. Honestly, we are making it work for now, and we actually might go under here and tack up some like skinny boards for extra support. It's barely holding this sort of stuff. In fact, I'm gonna take this water off of there so that it's not like the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't want it to all go crashing down into my glassware. And it's even crooked. I don't know what's going on. It's not perfect, but we're doing with what we got. Our little drawers here for fruits and potatoes / onions is working really well. And I know I probably already have comments by now, but we eat our fruits and veggies way faster than they could ever go bad. Typically, you don't want to store onions with things, and like the whole gas off situation makes them like rot sooner. Never been an issue for us. We eat our potatoes and onions like that. Same goes for the fruit that's stored on top of it in the top drawer. But this is working out great. It was so nice to be able to send the kids into this room to grab a fresh apple or something to eat, or to grab a can of chili or soup that we could heat up on our wood stove. This is just another example, and it's so ironic that this all happened at the same time that I was filming a pantry declutter organization video. I've said this before, having a good stock of canned goods has come in handy so many times. I am always so grateful to have this stuff on hand, even though it's a bit more than what your typical minimalist would keep on hand. I would rather be prepared than live by another person's set of rules. Honestly, that's just who I am. I've got our canned goods and apparently a glove. I don't know where that came from. But for those of you who are worried about like contamination with it being down here on the floor and under like the mop and broom area, my mama always taught me to use hot water and soap to wash the cans before you use a can opener to get them open, because that same sort of grime is there from the store. It doesn't necessarily just come from us. So now we're moving on from our food and into more of like the utility laundry room stuff. So I have 2 racks of tools. Here's the little charging station for our Milwaukee tools that we use around the house. These are other household tools. There's more underneath here. But we just have like our basic level and razor and measuring tape and hammer and stuff like that. And then on the shelf up, I have the bin for hardware, which is just like our, collection of little screws and nuts and bolts and stuff like that I actually prefer to have separate from the tools themselves. Makes it way easier to find and they don't get all jumbled together. I had some extra room here on the shelf, so I just popped my mop bucket. And then on this shelf we have, as the nice Cricut label reads, cleaners. And this is another thing that I like to have a really good stock of, just like my canned goods. Having extra household cleaners and soaps and dish detergent or toilet bowl cleaner has really come in handy, especially at the beginning of the pandemic when the store shelves were completely wiped clean and no one could find anything to clean their house with. This minimalist likes to be prepared. That's all I can say. And then up here, this is my little extras shelf for like our bags. I called it Ziploc because I think that's just the easiest way to label it, but I also have some like reusable washable bags in there. We have some of our kitchen garbage bags, our lonely roll of paper towels because we never actually use paper towels, but I like to keep a roll on hand for, you know, when the power goes out and we're not able to do laundry. As you can see, I have a bin of our extra light bulbs and then a bin labeled vacuum, which has like extra vacuum filters and little accessories and parts and stuff like that. Our brooms, this little grabber because I'm short, duster, mop, that sort of thing, hang in there really nicely. An extra stool in here because, again, I'm short. I have been parking our vacuum just right here, tuck it around the corner, which works great. I put a little screw in the wall to hang our measuring sticks, so that's tucked there really nicely. I can look outside at the back 5 acres and watch those beautiful clouds roll by. But that brings us over to the laundry side. And as you can see, I got a little happy with my Cricut and made labels for more than just what I intended to work on, which was the pantry stuff. I made way more labels because it's just so much fun. So I've got our laundry pods, OxyClean, I've got our Tide, like powdered Tide here, which I use for more than just laundry. This is a household cleaner for me as well. A little bin of like my extra tools and cleaners and stuff for laundry. Extra batteries in here, all organized nicely. I'm holding you up really high to be able to see into that bin. These cabinets are so ridiculously high. I mean, I don't know if you can tell like how tall they are. I was storing pods and stuff like this, like my everyday laundry stuff in these cabinets, but I have to stand on my tiptoes so high and I can, like, I'm literally on my tippiest toes. So it's just not practical for me as far as a everyday sort of cabinet goes. So it's there for extra stuff, like my extra jug of detergent or whatever, or like really specialty stuff that I don't as often access. Which is why I put this shelf here, as you guys saw. I had this board already from a shelf I was going to build in our old house, but then we ended up moving. But I think the only thing I actually bought for this whole project was these 3 brackets. They were like under 10 bucks each, and they're just holding this shelf up so that I can have my daily stuff here easy for me to grab out of and use as I do the laundry. Look at my washing machine just patiently blinking, waiting for me to resume the load. Which probably means it's time to wrap it up here. Oh, one more thing. These 3 little bins, which I actually had in our old house. All of the bins here in the pantry, everything I'm reusing from what we already had in the old house. And these were one of my favorite little spots. I've got packing stuff if I ever have to ship something or make returns. I have a little bin for labels, which I'm probably not going to use very much now that I actually am using a Cricut to make labels, which is a way faster, more streamlined process than like the Sharpies and the stupid little stick-on labels that I had in here. So this bin might turn into something else. But then I just have my 3M hooks and 3M strips and stuff like that that I use all the time. This shelf is so high. The previous owners of this house, they were not very tall people. Maybe the builder of this house was. But despite the really tall cabinets or this cabinet over here that doesn't really work and probably will end up breaking if we don't reinforce it, I do love how this whole room turned out. It was definitely worth the time spent getting it right and doing the decluttering and the reorganization to get it functional for our family. And these labels, you guys, being able to see everything in front of you and know exactly where everything is, and to know that I can send a kid in here or Weston or someone like a guest and have them pick exactly what I'm thinking of because there's a clear label on it, it's a game changer. I had some labels on stuff in our old house, and those were always the easiest things to find, and I'm glad that I kind of went all out this time now that I have the Cricut and just made it happen. I mean, even down to like labeling the shelves and what goes on them. It's already so helpful, and we're just a couple of days into having it be organized like this. Very, very happy with the finished product, and I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me while I did this messy to minimal of our pantry slash laundry utility room. I always love being able to find things around my house that I already have to organize the stuff that I need to organize, but it was also such a treat to be able to work with Cricut on this video and create these amazing labels. Like I said earlier, I cannot wait to see what other like crafts, home decor, t-shirts. I have like an iron-on thing that I got from them as well. It's gonna be so fun to find other projects to do, and the kids enjoyed coming along with me a little bit while I was doing some of this labeling. So maybe I'll find some fun projects to do with them in the future. Let me know if you enjoy Cricut projects, if you have one, what some of your favorite projects have been, and if you don't have a Cricut machine yet and you're in the market for one, then don't forget to use my code Natalie10 to get 10% off and free shipping on any Cricut machine at Cricut.com. And thanks again so much to them for sponsoring a portion of today's video, and thanks so much to you guys as always for supporting my channel and for the love on my videos, especially when they're sponsored. So I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Thanks so much for spending a little part of it here with me on my channel, and I'll catch you later.